right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Couch Warrior podcast. I'm your host, as always, Mike, and today we're going to be breaking down LFA 152. It's a half decent card. It's not like last week. I thought last week's was better, but something to do, something to break down, and I got one bet so far. Unfortunately, the line is smashed. I apologize for all the noise. I live in New York City. It gets very loud here, but we're going to hop right into the fights. There's a few that I'm going to have to kind of skip through just because there's a lack of information. I'll bring it up if it's the case. There's a damn fire truck outside of my house. Cool. But all right, we'll hop right in. So for this first fight here, we've got Jayde Sheeley versus Nejra Repp. Sheeley is undefeated as a pro because she's never fought. Neither has Repp. Sheeley's 29 years old, 5'2", and for her camp, let me check if I got anything. I do not, so we're going with Ronin Training Center. And then on the other side with Repp, also making her pro debut. Don't have any measurables on her. However, I know she's training out of Factory X Muay Thai. I was able to confirm that on her Instagram. And yeah, I mean, there's no tape on Sheeley, like at all. She's been out of competition for 4 years. And without having any info, like I can't really do much with that. But I can recognize that Repp is good. I think Repp is pretty solid. I really like her striking, honestly. 2 knockout wins as an amateur at this weight class is relatively impressive. Solid takedown defense. She can be held up against the cage. But again, I don't have enough information on Sheeley, so I can't really say much. But I kind of think it's going to be Repp. I mean, unless Sheeley can keep up with the striking or out-grapple her, it seems like it's probably going to be Repp. But again, I'm working with nothing on Sheeley. The most recent tape for her is from 9 years ago, so not great. MMA Kasanganu, thanks for tuning in, my guy. Saying she's a second-gen fighter. Father fought in K1. I don't know how much that'll do, though, you know? But again, just can't do anything with it without more information. So we're going to move on. It is interesting, though. Tapology votes have Sheeley by 83%. And did people find something? I don't know. Like if people found anything, if anybody watching this found tape on Sheeley that's recent, swing that stuff my way. I'd really appreciate it. But I could not find it. So Repp is my pick, and we're going to move on. This is going to be a low-key fun fight, honestly. We've got Caleb Jensen versus Justin Budd. Jensen is 1-0 as a pro, but that one pro fight was 50 seconds, so can't really take much from it. 30 years old, 6'1", and for his camp, let me tell you guys if I have anything. I do not, and neither does Tapology. Justin Budd he's making his pro debut. 26 years old, he's going to be 4 years younger. He is giving up 3 inches in height. And I've got him at Strike Martial Arts Academy. And this one's interesting. There's very little info again, but there's enough that I think I can like work with. On Jensen, there's only one fight. And I believe that, yeah, it's a 2020 amateur fight. So it's like, it's his last amateur fight and the longest recent fight he's had because his pro debut was 50 seconds. But it's kind of old tape, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. Maybe he has improved. I thought he was pretty good on that tape, but you can't really assume anything. On the Bud side, he's been more active, I would say. You look at the amateur records, they're relatively similar. Jensen undefeated, 7-0 as an amateur. Bud 10-2-0 as an amateur. Both guys getting a bunch of knockouts, 5 knockouts as an amateur for Bud, 4 knockouts as an amateur for Jensen. So both these guys have power. But I'd give the striking to Jensen by a decent margin, I would say. Bud is very hittable. He's got a decent jab, but other than that, he doesn't seem very comfortable on the feet at all to me. While Jensen looks very comfortable on the feet, I really like his jab. I really like the 1-2s, the combos, everything straight down the pipe. I think that's super important. On the feet, I think he's going to be piecing up Bud. I really do. Now, the Sorry, guys, my mic unplugged. So hopefully I haven't been talking in a void, but let me know if it's working now, guys. Anyways, back to this. It's the takedown defense of Jensen that I'm concerned about. I haven't had much info. Is it back, Fight Club? It was because my mic unplugged. I have to like tighten the cable, but I hope I'm back on now. Let me know. So awesome. Thank you guys. And thank you for being here. But on the Bud side, like I said, I don't like the striking. Doesn't look comfortable at all on the feet. And he's very hittable. Like that I noticed for sure. He's very hittable. Now, he's not the best wrestler either. He's been taken down by Sylvester Moore. That wasn't the best look. He did get held down. But eventually he's the one who got the better of the grappling exchanges there. His own wrestling is pretty good. He uses it pretty often. And I think that's his only way here. I think that's its only path. But if he uses it, he might very well have a path here. I don't have enough info on Jensen's takedown defense again, but he's my lean. Jensen is still my lean. I can't play him at minus 160 without knowing what the takedown defense looks like. At minus 115, I probably would have taken the shot. That's the opener. But at minus 160, I don't like it enough. I think that Bud, if he does wrestle, he can really grind this out. So Jensen will be the pick, but no play here from me. Jensen, let's call it by KO. I'll even give round 2. And we're going to move on. I'm so sorry about all the sirens, guys. Not much I can do, though. All right. This is one I'm kind of hyped to see. I taped this one like right before the show a second time just to refresh, and I'm hyped for Ryan Fathi. So here we've got Ryan Fathi versus Triston Gwaltney. Ryan is making his pro debut. So is Triston. 25 years old for Ryan, 6'1", and for him, I've actually got him training. I believe it's Bang Tao. I know he's in Phuket, Thailand, but I don't know if he's at Bang Tao. I tried to look up their gym, like the interior, to match it up to his Instagram. I believe I got it right. Pretty sure he's at Bang Tao. And it does make sense. We're going to talk about it in a second, but he does have a Muay Thai background, and he's very credentialed there. Triston Gwaltney on the other side. He's 25, 5'10", giving up 3 inches in height. And we're going with Strike Martial Arts Academy for him. There's a few people fighting out of there for this fight card. And all right, let's talk. So Ryan Fathi is a Muay Thai specialist. The first thing I saw when I YouTubed him was Olympic Muay Thai guy. And I was like, wait a minute. There's no Muay Thai in the Olympics, I don't think. And then I looked into it, and people are relating what he won to the Olympics. It's like the World Muay Thai Championship, I guess. I did all this research I didn't know before, so don't take everything I say like fully accurate, but I'm doing my best. But apparently they follow Olympics rules, all of that. So it's a comparable level, apparently. From what I've seen, he looks really good on the feet. He looks like a really good Muay Thai practitioner. He's very slick. He's got 3 knockout wins as an amateur. And there's no tape on him. Got to say that. There's no MMA tape, only his Muay Thai. But there was a highlight video, highlight reel video I was watching, and he got a pretty nice double in one of his fights. Now, I have no idea what he did with that double, but he's got 2 amateur submission wins as well. And he is training out of Bang Tao. And I have to imagine that while I haven't seen much of his I haven't seen his takedown defense at all, it's a good place for having defensive grappling as well. So I have to guess that Fathi is going to have decent takedown defense. But again, we're guessing. We don't have actual proof. Now, Gwaltney on the other side, man. All right, what can he do well? He's got a BJJ purple belt, so maybe that's going to be a path for him here. 3 submission wins as an amateur, and what I have seen from his wrestling looked okay. But like he took down this guy Young that he fought. I think it was a 2018 fight. That's all I have on him. Yeah, Aryan Young took him down and couldn't even hold that guy down. And then on the feet, he's abysmal. He does not strike well offensively, and he's so hittable. Aryan Young was completely outstriking him on the feet. So I have to think that if we remain on the feet here, Fathi is going to destroy this man. He's going to beat the crap out of him, probably knock him out. I'm going to see what they give us the under here for. If it's a 2.5, I'm going to hop on that as well. But I'm going to see what I want to do with Fathi. I think I am going to get there. If you guys have seen my regional stuff before, you know, usually if I don't have tape on someone, I'm not going to bet either side. But here I'm so tempted because of the credentials and what I've seen in the striking from Ryan on his Muay Thai scene, and then what I've seen from Triston in terms of his lack of defensive striking defense. It's just not good. I think he's going to get knocked out here. I'm going to call maybe even round 1, honestly. Fathi's going to be a way better striker. So I'm going to see what happens with the line. Right now, money is coming in on Gwaltney. I'm going to let that happen. They actually opened up at near pick'em, which would have been a Fathi smash spot for me, but at minus 240, it's rough. It's rough getting there because of what I was saying with the lack of info, but I kind of want to parlay him with someone. So I'll talk about the other guy later, and we'll see what happens with this price tag. If I get something better, like minus 200, I'd probably just parlay him up for a unit and call it a day. And I am going to look at that under because Fathi can get the KO. And Gwaltney, maybe he grinds this guy out and gets a sub. I'm not sold on Gwaltney at all, but we'll move on. Fathi's the pick by KO. Probably going to end up in a parlay for me. All right. For this next one, man, I really wanted to be on Wright, but there's nothing on him. We got David Wright versus Kevem Felipe. Wright is making his pro debut. He had 3 amateur fights, 27 years old. He's 6 feet tall, trading under Rafael Lovato Jr. at Lovato's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA. Felipe, he's 5'5" 28 years old. He's 1 year older, 6'1". He's 1 inch taller, training out of Alpha Male, actually. So let's start with Felipe, right? He's a short notice replacement here, which, looking at his record, wiki capping this, you're like, all right, he's 5'5" 4 losses in a row, and short notice, must be getting set up to lose. But dude's not half bad. Like, his losses aren't terrible. The competition hasn't even been close. Like, Felipe is fighting way better guys than David Wright is fighting. It's not even really comparable. Now, all that said, I don't have really anything to work with for Wright. You look it up. There's nothing for MMA at all. He's had 3 amateur fights, like I mentioned, all of them relatively quick finishes. He is a credentialed BJJ guy, it appears. Took silver in the Pan No Gi tournament, 3rd in 2021, 2nd in 2022. And like I mentioned before, training under Lovato, and I do believe he has a college wrestling background as well. But again, I don't know how he strikes. I don't know what his striking defense looks like. I don't know what it looks like when someone wears on him in an MMA bout. So I can't really do anything here. And Felipe, his striking is half decent. Good kicks. I like the 1-2, but he's hittable. Takedown defense actually looked half decent as well. So again, you can't do anything here. I think it would be silly to really take a play. If anything, like if you need to, I would do Felipe, I guess, because he's a dog and he's fought much better people. I'm not positive Wright's going to show him much that he hasn't seen yet. But again, I haven't seen Wright fight MMA. I can't really know. So here, I guess I'm going to pick. I'm literally just shooting in the dark. I'll pick Felipe, but I'm not going to play anything here. It would be silly, I think. I don't suggest it to anybody. And we're going to move on. Close those. All right. Here we've got Jessica Middleton versus Dione Barbosa. Now, Middleton, she's 5'6" 34 years old, 5'7" with the 70-inch reach. And for her camp, let me check. I've got Fox Fitness. Barbosa, 4'2" She's 30 years old. She's going to be 4 years younger here. 5'6". She's 1 inch shorter. She's given up, what is this? It's 3 inches in reach. And I've got her training out of King's MMA. So Barbosa's a heavy favorite. Last I looked, she was minus 450. Indeed, she's still there. She opened minus 400. I'm not positive why. I mean, I guess it makes sense, right? So Middleton, she hasn't fought since 2019, first of all. Got to bring that up. Now, she lost to Haley Cohen by decision. That was the fight I was checking out. Haley Cohen is now in the UFC. Did well in her Contender Series fight. She's got a fight coming up. I want to say with Priscilla Cachoeira, but I could be wrong. I think it might be someone else. Regardless, not a terrible person to lose to. Haley Cohen is good. She got out grappled in that fight, and I think that's why the line is the way it is, because Barbosa can grapple. She can wrestle very well. She's credentialed, and if the fight does get down there, I think she's going to probably dominate. Now, on the feet, I guess I favor Barbosa, but Middleton's not horrible on the feet either. I don't think we're really going to stay on the feet for long. Now, looking at Barbosa's losses, she's also got 2 losses, but to good people. Like, neither of these women are bad. Jenna Bishop, she's 4-0 right now, and she's a great grappler. And then Karine Silva, she's now in the UFC also. And I actually think it's Silva who's fighting Cachoeira, I'm pretty sure. Regardless, not much I can really say here. I do think Barbosa is the rightful favorite. I don't think you should parlay her at minus 450. Middleton's been out for, 3 years? 4 years now almost. And you don't know what she's going to look like. Maybe she'll come in with great takedown defense. I wouldn't hold my breath. It's Barbosa for me. Unplayable at this price tag. Let's say Barbosa by submission. Worth mentioning also, Middleton has been submitted 3 times. So I do think it's Barbosa by sub. All right, talk about little information, man. Here we've got a prospect a lot of people are really hype about, on Ho, facing off against... All right, I'm going to do my damn best. Ready? Enkhjargal Banzaragch. We're going to go with that. I'm going to call him Banzaragch. So Ho is 2-0, undefeated as a professional. He's 22 years old, very young fella. 5'6" with a 67-inch reach, training out of MMA Lab. I talk about this pretty often. MMA Lab for this weight class is really good. Just think about the bantamweights coming out of there. Phillips, Sean O'Malley, Casey Kenny, and I'm blanking. I believe there's one more good name there. But regardless, it's a great camp for the weight class. And for him to be there, I like it quite a bit for a guy like him especially. Now, Banzaragch, 26, 5'6", don't have a reach. And for his camp, yeah, I couldn't find it. I really couldn't find anything on this guy. I tried what I did was when I look up like Russian dudes or Mongolians, like people whose names might be in a different language on YouTube, if I can't find their tape on first try with the name in English, I'll go and I'll translate it on Google Translate. So I did that for Banzaragch. I did it from English to Mongolian. Tried to search that. That didn't work. English name didn't work. I don't know. I don't know what he looks like fighting wise at all. I can't tell you. I just don't know. Now, I can tell you that On Ho was a very good prospect. I can tell you that clearly everybody, including LFA, is high on the guy. He's 5-0 as an amateur, now 2-0 as a pro as well. So 7-fight win streak. Hasn't left the first round as a pro just yet. 2 knockout wins. Both pro wins are by knockout. And, Banzaragch, I do have some numbers, I guess, like 1 knockout win, never been knocked out, 2 sub wins, been subbed twice. On Ho does have 3 amateur wins by sub, all by rear naked. And I believe I remember seeing a rear naked on Banzarach's losses. So, again, I'm completely shooting in the dark here. I think it's clearly Ho who's being set up here to win. I think he'll probably just kill this guy, but how could you know, right? So I'm going to stay off, but Ho is the pick. Probably, let's call it a sub for him too. And we're going to move on to a fight that we do have some information on, and it's a lot of fun, I think. We've got Brandon Phillips versus Magomed Idrisov. Phillips is 8-5-0, 33 years old, 5'6" with a 69-inch reach, and I've got him at, we're going with American top team OKC. Now, Idrisov, he's 7-0, undefeated as a pro. 29 years old. He's 4 years younger. He's 5'8", so he's going to be 2 inches taller. Training out of KHK MMA. For anyone who's not familiar, that's actually where Bekoev trains as well. Not positive if they're training partners or whatnot. They are the same weight class. So, yeah, this fight, I mean, it's pretty clearly a setup for Idrisov. He's like minus 550. I think that's fair. And while it's like a chalky price tag to pay for someone not so experienced, I think it makes sense. And I think it's parlayable. And if I do end up parlaying my guy Fathi, it'll be probably with Idrisov. So you look at this fight, and Brandon Phillips, he's probably got the competition edge. He's fought better competition, fought Elijah Johns, fought, what's his name, Aaron McKenzie. And what did those fights show us? It showed us why Idrisov is probably going to dominate here, because his takedown defense for Phillips, it's not that great. So because of that, I have to think, like, you watch Idrisov's tape, and his wrestling is very, very good. He's pretty solid on the feet too. I think he'll be able to hang here on the feet. Phillips is good on the feet. I like the 1-2, decently straight punches, 3 knockout wins, but it's not like elite by any means. And I think Idrisov will be able to hang there, if not even win on the feet. But the second he doesn't like something, just shoot. He's going to take him down. Elijah Johns took him down pretty easy, and then he couldn't get up, Phillips. But, Elijah Johns is also a good wrestler. But is he on the level of Idrisov? Probably not. So I think it's Idrisov all day. Domination on the mat. Let's call it a sub win. People really have been coming at me for not giving methods and exact picks, so I'm going to try, but I'm not betting these. If I say it's a pick, that doesn't mean it's a bet. If I say it's a bet, it's a bet. So here I will probably parlay Idrisov just because I think he's got such a clear path here to just out grapple Phillips. And I don't really see what Phillips has to offer for him to beat him here. So yeah, I'll take the chalk here, but I like Idrisov. ITD, let's call it a sub, and we'll move on. So I've seen a lot of love here on the guy who opened as a dog, and we got to talk about this one. We've got Demoreo Dennis versus Trevor Wallace. Dennis is 7-5-0. He's 35 years old, 6'3" with a 76-inch reach, training out of, let me double check that, American Elite MMA. Trevor Wallace, he's 5'2" 31 years old. So he's going to be 4 years younger, 6'2". He's 1 inch shorter with a 77-inch reach, training out of Memphis Judo and Jiu-Jitsu. So for this one, right? So first of all, Dennis, I believe he hasn't fought in MMA, I'm correct, since 2018. He's been kickboxing, and I've been hearing talk about his kickboxing, but he went 1-3-0 in Glory. He did better in this other promotion that was like a regional scene promotion, not very good. And I don't have much MMA tape on him. That's the problem. There's not even a minute of his MMA tape of his last few fights. So, and we're talking back in 2018. So I don't know how his takedown defense is going to look. And I think that's super relevant here because Trevor Wallace can wrestle. The guy can wrestle. I'm not sold on him at all as a prospect or anything like that. He was a super big favorite in most of his LFA fights. And I'm pretty sure I faded him in his last two, or at least, I don't know if the Tynan one was playable. I definitely faded him before that. I've never trusted him much. And again, getting knocked out by Bubba Grant, who was 7-6-0 at the time. Jesus, I'm sorry, guys. Getting knocked out by him is not a good look. That happened relatively recently as well. But look, I actually think he's decent on the feet, Wallace. I thought his jab looked really good. I liked the combinations. I liked that most things were straight. You don't often see that from heavyweights. They'll swing a lot of the time. Not so much from Wallace. And he's got 5 knockouts of his own. He's never left the first round. So, what happens if he gets extended? But Dennis hasn't fought in MMA since 2018. I'm sure his kickboxing cardio is great. But what happens when he has to defend takedowns that he hasn't done in a long time? So I'll tell you, I think I'm actually going to end up getting to Wallace. I normally wouldn't. Like I said, I don't trust the man, but he opened minus 260, and I didn't think that was right. But to make him a dog now, plus 125, I think that's also incorrect. I don't think that's the right line. I think pick 'em or slight favorite Wallace is where it should be. Again, let's go over the problems with Dennis. No MMA fight since 2018. Don't know what his takedown defense is going to look like. Even the 2018 tape, we don't really have much. So, can he get a knockout on the feet against Wallace with his kickboxing background? Yeah, sure. Maybe he's got a 1 inch reach advantage, might be slightly bigger. Sure, he's got really good shots and he can maybe land something. But if Wallace is smart, if he's got a decent person in his corner, he'll fight on the feet for a little bit and shoot. Guy's a kickboxer. There's no way he's training his takedown defense the last 5 years. I really don't think so. Especially he's not at some big camp or anything like that. So I'm going to go with Wallace. I wouldn't do it if he wasn't the underdog, but at this point, I think the price is just wrong. So I'm going to play it. I'm going to wait though, because money is still coming in on Dennis. And once it's done, I'll hop on to Wallace, probably for a unit or a half unit. I'm going to have to decide that myself. Why is there always something on my block, man? But all right, we're going to move on to our co-main event of the evening. And I beat the line movement here big time. We've got Manny Muro versus William Starks. Muro is 13-7-0. He's 36 years old, 5'10" with a 71-inch reach, training out of American Elite MMA. Starks 8-3-0, 29 years old. He's going to be 7 years younger, 1 inch height advantage, 2 inch reach, 3 inch reach advantage. And for him, camp wise, I actually don't know where he trains. I know Muro, it's not American Elite actually. He's at Elevation Fight Team now, which is a good look. And Muro's not that bad. He's a pretty good striker. He's had a few Bellator fights where he was half decent. I believe he lost to Usman Nurmagomedov. And, you know, like I said, he can strike well, but he's very hittable himself. He's been knocked out 3 times. And his takedown defense is not very good. He got out grappled by Newell. If you guys don't know who Newell is, he's dope. Props to him for what he does, but he only has one arm. So to get out wrestled by him like that is not a great look to me, especially when you're going up against William Starks, who can wrestle, who's a good wrestler. And, you can say, all right, but Starks is less experienced. Maybe, but he has 15 amateur fights. He went 14-1-0 as an amateur. He fought Alex Martinez, who's in PFL now, who's pretty good, Alex Martinez. That's a good win. Now, I know a lot of people are low on Starks. His last performance was not great, but I don't think it's enough to just throw him away just yet. And I think he's got everything he needs to win this fight. He's got the age, he's got the measurables, he's got the wrestling, and on the feet, I think he's also good. And I think he should be able to win the minutes, but if Muro's throwing too much for him, too much pressure, I think he can just go to the wrestling. So I do like Starks quite a bit. In terms of where I like now, minus 450, like I still think he wins. I don't think the line doesn't change that, but I don't think you can really play it. Now, in terms of his line, real talk, I got him extremely early. I got him at I think the opener or like right after the opener, minus 175, but I didn't track that because it's not right. Like nobody could have really gotten that line, so I can't track that. But I ended up tracking. I waited a little bit. I waited for a line that kind of held for a second at least, and I tracked it on minus 245. I did that one for, let me tell you guys, I think 3 units. Trying to get better with not tracking lines you guys can't get, at least at the moment when I post. So yeah, minus 210 is where I got him. Again, that was there a little bit longer than that minus 175, so I felt decent about posting it. And I also did not think that Starks would get down this wide at all. I thought it would probably stop around there where I played it, because I think that's more accurate. I don't blame anyone taking a shot on Muro here. I think that he does have that veteran to him, like that grindiness. Like he's got a good output. He's decent on the feet. He's got the pressure. So, to count him out would be silly. Plus 350 on him, I can't blame anyone. But I am on the Stark side. I do think he wins this fight relatively, I don't want to say easily, but comfortably, I would say. And we can move on to our main event of the evening. So I'm very excited to have this guy here now. We've got Renato Valente versus Azamat Bekoev. Valente is 9-5-0. He's 30 years old, 6'1" with a 74-inch reach. And I've got him at King's MMA. Bekoev, 14-3-0, 27 years old. He's 3 years younger, 6'1". They're the same height. No reach for him. And I don't know his camp either. Bekoev, he's coming from the Russian regional scene. He's an ACA guy. And we don't often see them come in we don't often see ACA guys coming here to the American regional scene. I think it's a visa thing normally, but I'm hyped that he's coming. And I really hope that if he gets a win, I hope they sign him because I like him quite a bit. You look at the losses for Bekoev, and he's only lost to good guys. He lost to Rafael Heretic. If you guys remember, Rafael Heretic a few weeks ago was beating up the Lazy King for 5 rounds before getting submitted. And then he lost to Ibrahim Magomedov, who's now 10-2-0, and Magomed Rasul Gasanov, who's now 17-2-0. So he hasn't lost to anybody bad at all. Now, he's a great finisher, 8 submission wins, and he's a very good grappler, very good wrestling, very good top control. And his own takedown defense is very solid as well. And we're talking on the Russian regional scene at ACA. His takedown defense is good, so it's going to hold up, I think, here. And his striking is also really solid. He's knocked out 5 people. Good jabs, slick combinations, really nice counters and clinch knees. And I honestly, I do think he's going to run away with this. You look at Valente, I don't think he's half bad. I backed him in the Revel fight. He looked very fluid in the Revel fight. He's kind of got this square stance to him, which I don't know how I feel about. Goes to the body really well. I love to see that. Good 1-2, nice body kicks, like I just mentioned. And, he's got 2 knockouts of his own, but he has been knocked out twice. And I think it's just a defensive grappling that matters here. Now, he fought Joshua Fremd, who's in the UFC. Some people think highly of Frem, some don't. I'm in the middle. But Frem is a good wrestler. Frem got him down and controlled him. But Bekoev is even better. So if Frem could do that, now Frem did get swept, and Valente is active off his back, and he's got good scrambles. But I don't see that working on Bekoev. I see Bekoev just dominating him on the ground. I see Bekoev being comfortable on the feet. And I see Bekoev winning this fight. Now, minus, what is it, 700, I think? Yeah, like, I can't play that, not even for a parlay. It's not going to do much. And I'm not ready to just discount Renato Valente. Now, the pick is Bekoev. The pick will be, let's call it a knockout, but I can't put I can't bet here, really. So that's going to have to be it for me. And that's a card, guys. I'm going to real quick address the chat because I wasn't good with that today. Why does Islam show that he trains at KHK? That's a good question. I'm almost positive he's not there. Bet online, my brother, but I think people already hit you with that. You're lucky to have LFA on DraftKings. I don't think we get it in New York. And PFL. So I don't think I'm going to get a PFL video out this week. There's just too much on my plate. I have content pretty much every day. Today we're doing the Twitter space, me and Propaholic. We're going to do prop talk at 6 p.m. But yeah, so I'm not going to do a video, I don't think. I still haven't, I barely taped that card either. I've been so busy with UFC and then with LFA. So I haven't really gotten there yet. Babley, that's the PFL fight, right? Yeah. Babley minus 400. What's his ITD? What do you think, JJ? You're thinking Babley KO or sub? KO's plus 120. I gotta tape all this. It's only 4 fights, and I do remember I do remember Ras Hyalton. I remember him because I got into handicapping and betting during COVID, and he fought during COVID against man, I don't even remember against who, but it was such a sloppy fight and just not a good look. And it's so funny to see that he's making his debut at the PFL Challenger Series now. I don't know why they're bringing him in. What's Marquez by sub? Minus 110. I might get there. I need to check out if Hyalton's lost by sub. I'm going to tape it. I'll post any picks as usual at Couch Warrior Pod on Twitter. So make sure to check me out there. And that's it. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thanks for your support. If you haven't seen my other stuff this past week, I went live yesterday for the panel with my co-host Pat, and we were joined by Lucrative and WizBets. And then on Tuesday, I went live with Clint from Die Hard MMA to break down the card from the bottom up. And that's it, guys. So, and today, like I mentioned, prop talk at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So thank you guys once again, and good luck with any bets you have this week.